Hi, everybody. I'm Gene Valicenti. This is a coffee break or coffee time or coffee milk, whatever you prefer. We're just glad that you're with us. I'm usually with Allison, but she's on vacation, so I'm sure she's sitting around a nice warm fire toasting marshmallows and enjoying her hot coffee because there's a little nip in the air. So let's get over right to AJ, who's going to give us the update on this. AJ, what's ahead here? Got a little cooler weather out there today.
Gene, definitely cooler. We're seeing more of those northerly winds. And I saw you braving some of the elements out there yesterday in the field. Quite a bit of rain falling across the region, of course, with this nor'easter. Coventry leading the pack, 3.45 inches falling within the past 48 hours. Kingston over 3 inches. Cumberland, 2.76. Even TF Green, 2.39. Westerly, 1.83 was falling there. Now, some of our more impressive rainfall totals actually coming from eastern Massachusetts. Plymouth, Massachusetts, over 6 inches of rain. 6.23 falling there with some ocean enhancement. Wareham getting in on that too, 5.67. Dighton around 3 inches. New Bedford close to 3. Taunton about 2.5 inches falling. Wasn't just the rain, also the wind. Some of these peak gusts in Rhode Island, 64 miles per hour yesterday in Block Island. Majority of our immediate area actually was closer to around 40 miles per hour. So the strongest winds were further offshore. Now, we did see some impressive gusts through parts of Massachusetts as well. Out on the Cape, Wellfleet, 65 miles per hour, over 50. Nantucket, Buzzards Bay, Fall River, New Bedford, all above the 40-mile-per-hour mark. Now, the waters are still churned up today. We have a small craft advisory, so no more of that gale warning or storm warning. But look at the waves off Block Island, still 9 feet, 11 feet off George's Bank, the Gulf of Maine, between 8 and 10 feet right now. So dangerous boating still persisting and still large breaking waves. So if you're heading down to the coastline, be mindful of that. Not expecting as much splash over, though, opposed to previous days. As Gene was talking about, more of this northerly wind. It's cool outside. That means our storm system is slowly working off to the east. However, we're still seeing this light drizzle and mist, especially across eastern areas, east of Providence. And then you head through parts of the Cape and still a steady rain falling and even some rumbles of thunder early this morning in Chatham. So we expect this to kind of persist through the rest of the daytime. Western areas a little bit drier. We head for the overnight. That's when things really start to work to clear. So we can time it out here with forecast track. The northerly winds keeping temperatures in the 50s through the rest of the day. 8 p.m. still seeing that mainly cloudy sky. Even for the overnight, could see some light mist once again, potentially for some fog developing, but that clears out for tomorrow morning. The sunshine making a grand return for the start of Wednesday. 8 a.m. temperatures around 50 degrees. The sun peaks out. We get this weak shortwave during the day that will provide more clouds through the middle of the daytime, but by late afternoon, temperature near 60 degrees as we break into a little bit more sunshine. Now, temperatures will be warmest heading for tomorrow with kind of a head start due to the cloud cover for tonight. We're up to 62 degrees. Breezy on Thursday with a high near 57. Lots more sunshine on Friday as the wind starts to calm down. We're up towards 61 degrees. And then the extended trend. This is what you want to see heading for the weekend. Some warmer temperatures in store by Saturday afternoon under a mostly sunny sky, 63. We're 70 degrees on Sunday, too. And then early next week, temperatures falling a little bit. That'll be our next rain chance late Sunday night into Monday. So it does look like we'll escape the weekend, Gene, on a dry foot and some warmer temperatures as well. So 50s for the rest of the week, going to be a little bit warmer just in time for the weekend. But thankfully, we're getting rid of some of this rain and wind pushing off to the east here over the next 24 hours.
I've got a cashmere sweater on. This may be a little overkill for today. If you said it's like 57, 58 out there, I may go
Well,
change
you're
this.
staying warm, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But
What was the weather? What was the weather yesterday when that plane took off 8 o'clock at New Bedford? We know the weather was lousy. Do you have any specifics on the winds and how heavy it was in that part of the state?
yeah, so I did take a closer look at that yesterday, Gene, and we did see some of the winds sustained between 15 and 25 miles per hour, gusting to 30 to 40 miles per hour.
Mm.
Now, that's just at the ground level. So some of those winds could have been a little bit higher up. Now, the plane didn't, of course, get too high in the sky, but the
No.
winds likely gusting to around 40 miles per hour. Not great flying conditions all in all. Of course, we can't solely attribute it to the weather,
Right.
but definitely likely at least playing a factor in some capacity.
All right, AJ, thanks. Well, we know
Yep.
the investigators are returning to the scene today. Actually, they're showing up at the scene for the first time, the NTSB. That scene is just almost like you saw it yesterday. That fuselage is laying right in the middle of the median out there in Dartmouth, near New Bedford, near the Fonts Corner exit. And the car that was clipped as that plane came in is also there. It wasn't moved because they've got to piece together everything, do measurements, collect whatever's on the ground, whatever's left on the ground. So that's going to be today's news. We know that two people were aboard that plane, Thomas Perkins and his wife Agatha, well known in building circles because he's one half of the Kirby Perkins building company. They build high end homes in Newport, Watch Hill, Bellevue Avenue, Middletown, Jamestown. If there's a high end home, Kirby Perkins probably has a sign in front of it. So he was the Perkins of Kirby Perkins. His wife Agatha, they've been married for quite some time. 68, 66 years old, respectively. His wife Agatha was the brother of Jerry Kirby, the partner. So this is a tragedy for two families. All right, the investigators go back today. Weather was lousy when he took off. He was headed to Kenosha, Wisconsin. He only got as far as the median on 195. Thankfully, the plane went down in the median and not in traffic, either westbound or eastbound. This could have been worse. No deaths on the ground. Slight injury to the woman who was in that car that was clipped. But Perkins, Tom Perkins and his wife Agatha were killed. Kirby Construction, just told you they're very big in Rhode Island. You've seen the signs. When this went down, a lot of people saw it. And sometimes you see something like this, you can't believe you're seeing it. Let's listen to this witness.
Pretty intense, to the point where I realized, when I looked at the scene, I said, there's no way these people survived this.
Everything about this is just absolutely terrible. Condolences to every family out there that was involved in this situation.
Okay, that's the very latest on what we know. We don't know if it was engine trouble, if it was weather related, or a combination of both. We do know the pilot, Tom Perkins, had a lot of experience. He flew that plane a lot. He was part of an air charity network that would fly sick people to hospitals if they couldn't afford the flight. He'd fly supply goods. He was well known to the Middletown airport community, the New Bedford airport community, well known in building circles. Him and his wife are also well known in societal circles in Newport and Middletown. I've heard from several people who say, great person, he built my house. Speaking of building a house, they would build a mansion. They did a lot of work on Oka Court, the Salve Regina administrative headquarters, that old mansion. I believe they were working on Miramar, which is the mansion right on Bellevue Avenue, owned by Schwartzman. And you go up and down Bellevue, Ocean Drive, you see those Kirby Perkins signs all over the place. So we'll be following up on that. A lot more reporting coming up on NBC 10 in our later broadcasts, starting at noontime and at 4 o'clock. All right, in Washington, media outlets are pushing back against the Pentagon directive that you sign this paper and agree not to report anything we haven't seen, because they're concerned about leaks and secrets. On the other hand, reporters are concerned about censorship and telling me how to report. This is nothing new at the Pentagon. There are constant clashes between what ought to get out of that building and what does get out, and how it's leaked out, or whether it's a directive directly from the Secretary of Defense, now called the Secretary of War, by the President and Pete Hegseth himself. CNN, New York Times pushing back. Even Newsmax, the far right cable news network, won't sign it. So we'll see if if push comes to shove, and if nobody shows up for the press briefings. Maybe that's what they want in the end. But right now they're getting resistance to having reporters in the Pentagon sign this directive that you'll do as we say with regard to what can be released or not. Locally, our friend over at Brown University, we called him Little Elon. That's Alex Shea, or Mr. Shea, as the placard said in the congressional hearing not that long ago. He is a sophomore at Brown. He did not come back for his junior year. He says, I don't need Brown anymore. I can do better off without them. I don't need the Ivy League. Now, we called him Little Elon because he went on a tear against the administrators at Brown. He called the place full of waste, fraud, and abuse. He said they're overstaffed, and those who are overstaffed are also bloated, full of fraud, waste, fraud, and abuse. The place is out of control with DEI. He had a litany of complaints against Brown University. He got a lot of ink on this, a lot of press. He was on my radio show several times. He was on Fox News. He was all over the place, New York Times, Wall Street Journal. He never met with President Paxson. The administration tried to discipline him. That effort fell apart. He was off the hook on discipline. He was supposed to come back in September as a junior, but he told me yesterday he's decided not to do that, that he's going to form a startup to work with other whistleblowers to mine the money that the government has for whistleblowers. There's millions of dollars at stake. He says, I figured out the game, and I know how to get at that money, and whistleblowers should come to me and my new company that I'm forming, and I'll help them tap into the money that they're going to save the government. It's a percentage of the billions they save. So that's what Alex is up to. He has 3 years to decide if he wants to come back to Brown at some point if this doesn't work out and he actually wants to finish the degree, or he could always transfer somewhere else, or he could ride off into the sunset like Zuckerberg, who never graduated Harvard, and become a billionaire. Anyway, Alex Shea says he doesn't need the Ivy League. By the way, he also takes credit for the 100 layoffs, the 100-plus layoffs at Brown. They got in a pinch with federal funding cut back. And he said, I take credit for that. I identified more than 100 jobs they could cut, and lo and behold, they cut. Well, Brown is not exactly giving him the credit for that. Brown will tell you another story. By the way, another story at Brown, they have until October 20th to decide whether or not they want to sign a directive from the president, a letter of agreement from the White House, the Department of Education, that says you agree to do this, this, and this. Cut out DEI, allow for conservative speakers, a whole list of things. Or if you don't do it, you're going to lose your federal funding. And if you want to sue us, go ahead. That's going to cost you millions. So they have till October 20th to decide if they're going to sign this compact and keep the money coming in and hope that the students and faculty who are urging them to do otherwise will go away and quiet down. Not sure that's going to happen. MIT refused to sign it. Harvard refused to sign it. We should know before next Monday whether or not Brown is going to go along with this and either sign, accept the compact, or reject it. Taylor Swift is breaking more records with her Life of a Showgirl album. Made Billboard history. All 12 songs on the album taking the top spots of her Hot 100. Good for her. She also says she's got a new documentary coming out on her Eras tour, which was a groundbreaking moneymaker. And we're waiting to hear if she's going to get married in Westerly at the house. The internet, TikTok, Instagram, everything's is a buzz with the notion that she's going to get married on June 13th at the house and that she wants to rent out the Ocean House up the block for her guests to use. And the rumors are rife that another couple had booked the hotel for that weekend, and she is now offering them, I'll pay for the wedding and I'll pay for your honeymoon if you'll give me that weekend. I need the Ocean House. The trouble is the story is being told the same way all over the internet, and it gets better with every telling. Some people quote the mother of the other bride. Some people quote a sister of the other bride. Whatever it is, I don't know if it's true or disinformation or whether or not she's getting married in Rhode Island at all. We don't know. She is doing renovations on the house. The Ocean House is favorite. She likes to go there. Her father loves the place. So I don't know. I guess we'll see when she lets us know where she's actually getting married. Are you into pumpkin, the flavor pumpkin? All the restaurants are. Pumpkin spice this, pumpkin spice that. Dunkin' Donuts is out with a bunch of pumpkin stuff. Starbucks, they're all doing pumpkin stuff. It's always kind of a funny debate whether or not people actually like this stuff or not. They must like it enough because the companies keep bringing it back. We're in pumpkin season. That means you're going to see the pumpkin stuff all over the menu. All right, there's a lot more to get to. The president's got a busy day at the White House. He is giving Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom posthumously. You know, Charlie was assassinated a few weeks back. His wife will be at the White House to accept the posthumous Presidential Medal of Freedom. After that, he's meeting with the president of Argentina, Milei. Now, Milei is sort of the Donald Trump of Argentina. They get along like two peas in a pod, so that should be a warm welcome for the president of Argentina, who had a handle on inflation, might be slipping a little bit. He's got a lot to talk about with Donald Trump. And then Friday, Zelensky from the Ukraine is coming in. Donald Trump says that's the next conflict I'm going to solve, having taken a victory lap yesterday for bringing peace to Gaza. It was a short trip to the Middle East. He addressed the Israeli Knesset, then flew to Egypt, where he addressed a summit of European and Arab nations. He held court yesterday. He dominated the world stage yesterday before flying back to Washington overnight. If he slept on the plane, great. He says he doesn't need that much sleep. He's got a busy day today with Charlie Kirk's widow and the president of Argentina, and then a busy week Friday with Zelensky. He says that's the next conflict I want to solve, the Russian-Ukraine war. All right, I think you're up to date. Make sure you watch me on the news tonight on NBC 10 at 6. This is sort of a continuation of my radio show. I do the radio on WPRO 6 to 9 weekday mornings. Tune in and listen to me there. For now, I will see you on the news. Ciao for now. This has been NBC 10 Coffee Break, Coffee Time, Coffee Milk, Pumpkin Coffee, whatever floats your boat. Have a good rest of your day.